Greetings, it's MaxODiddly here, and today I'm going to show you how to play music using Visual Basic. So let's get right into it. But firstly, make sure your project is a .NET Framework project as opposed to .NET Core, because we're going to be using specific things in the .NET Framework that might not be in .NET Core as of filming this tutorial. So let's get right into it. Firstly, you want to right click on your project if you're in Visual Studio, and click Open Folder in File Explorer. Then go to your bin folder, debug, and this is where your program's going to be while you're playing it in Visual Studio. So we've got our WAV file in here. This method's only going to play WAV files for the Windows operating system, and I'm storing my WAV file next to where my project's going to run, so I can just reference the name of the file and not a longer file path. You can put the file wherever you want, but make sure you get the file path correct so you can actually play the music. With that out of the way, let's get into how we do this. So in our main subroutine, we have got play sound cynthia.wav. That's the name of our file that we're going to play, and play sound is a subroutine we're going to make in a moment. Then we've got console.writeLine playing music. We're going to use this to demonstrate playing in the background and playing and waiting. So we're going to have a print line statement to help demonstrate what's going on. And we're going to have console.readLine to stop the program from closing. You'll see why in a moment. So let's define our subroutine. We're going to do sub, play sound, file path as string. We're not going to return a value. We're going to call this subroutine play sound, and we're going to pass in a string, which is going to be the file path of the file we want to play. Inside, we're going to do one line of code. We are going to do my.computer.audio.play, file path, and audio play mode.background. So what's going on here? Well, to take what this is saying literally, we're telling our computer to play the audio at the specified file path and using background mode. Now, background mode is asynchronous. This means other stuff can continue on the thread while we're playing this music. For instance, we could be printing stuff out to the console. It's kind of why it's called background mode. It occurs in the background and other stuff can happen. So let's hit play and see what happens. And the music played once, and it stopped as we were about to get to the good part, which I did intentionally so we don't have to wait minutes to listen to our sound file play. But then we hit enter and the program closes. What happens if we remove console.readLine? Well, we're going to hit play. And you could see it printed playing music, but nothing actually played. And that's because if we're doing something asynchronously or in the background using the language of Visual Basic, it's not going to keep the main thread alive. It needs something to do so it can continue doing the background tasks. And what we did before was we were telling Visual Basic to wait for your user input. But there's another way we can go about doing this if you want to. What we can do in the play sound, instead of .background, we can do .wait to complete. And I'll show you what happens now. So what happened there? Well, we played the sound, and then once the sound finished, it said playing music. After that, the program closed. Again, there was nothing to keep that thread alive. However, since we set the music to wait to complete mode, it became a synchronous task, meaning, and when I say synchronous, I said A right before synchronous, but I mean it became a synchronous task, meaning it plays, meaning it's not going to be a background task, as in it's Visual Basic's going to play that sound. After playing the sound, it'll go on to the next line of code. The situation for this is probably not as common as the asynchronous situation, but it's there in case you need it. But anyway, thanks for being a great audience. Be sure to leave a like in the comment if you enjoyed, and subscribe, as we will be posting more Visual Basic tutorials on how to play music. Thanks for being the great audience.